Hello, welcome to Revelator Alpha. Hope you're all well. So this is a Saturday afternoon show. You might have noticed a new microphone here. Well, I've had it for about 2 years. Very rarely use it. So anyway, we're going to let me know what the audio is like on this, please, in the comment section, and also if you're getting a decent picture. Apparently, I'm getting a little message here on my computer saying the internet service in this area is pretty poor at the moment. One of those things, I'm afraid. But as I say, if you just want to listen, then just listen to the audio as opposed to just looking at it. Anyway, so this Saturday afternoon show, the reason why I'm doing a Saturday afternoon show is normally I was riding around on my bike. Unfortunately, I had to start stripping it down a little bit yesterday. This is a Harley, and doing a bit of work to it. So I'm just waiting for a few things to cure off, and then hopefully put them back on, and I'll be zipping around the back roads and the main stretches pretty soon. But anyway, so that's why I'm not riding today. Basically, a day in the workshop or a morning in the workshop yesterday and this morning, and I thought, you know what, let me just see what's happening in the world out there, and just give you a little live show. If you got any questions, by all means, join in the chat. Introduce yourselves, let me know where you're watching from, or what you're listening to. Usual thing, if you want to support the channel, you can do that by the super thanks, super chat, super stickers things at the bottom. We'll go to the website. You can buy merch there as well, or via the PayPal link. But today's show is all about, well, it's a mixed bag, really. There's some new products, a new service, I should say, that one of the manufacturers has come out with. That's Suzuki. Some new bikes from KTM Kawasaki. There's a very interesting head-to-head article written between the Harley Davidson Nightster, the Indian Scout, and the Honda Rebel as well, the 1100. Very interesting. And my thoughts, even before I read it, it was kind of bore out in the article. So I'm going to show you where that is from as well. But let us know how this feed is coming to you, and hopefully it's okay for you in terms of audio and video. So I'm going to run into a bit of that. But first of all, it's all about this. Right, and so the first story is going to be about one of my all-time sort of favorite manufacturers, and it's these guys. And it's basically, if I just bring the page up, sorry, they're jumping ahead. It's Suzuki who have launched, and this is taken from Visor Down, and lots of other news outlets have, or motorcycle news outlets have been reading, going with this story as well. But they've launched this new free accident aftercare program, and when I first saw the headline, I thought, what's this mean? The free aftercare program. What, are they going to fix your bike for free? Are they going to pay for all your hospital bills? Was a liability issue here? What's going on? Okay, so what it is, it's nothing to do with that per se, but let's just say if you have an accident on your Suzuki, and I believe from the article it says of all ages, right, of any age of Suzuki, you can call into a central hub, a central phone line, dedicated phone line service from Suzuki. They've set it up in the UK, and it's called Suzuki First, I believe it's called. And let me just have, Suzuki First. Suzuki GB have set up Suzuki First, which is a new call center dedicated to the new accident aftercare program that is available 24 hours a day from Suzuki. So basically what happens is, and I thought this was very interesting from Suzuki, that if you have an accident on your Suzuki of any age, You can give them a call and they will take care of everything in that. They will take care of liaising with your insurance, with getting your bike repaired. Obviously, you're going to have to pay for this, or not. The service is free, I should say. You're already signed into it. If you buy a new if you buy a new Suzuki, you're already going to be enrolled into this. It doesn't cost you a penny, but obviously you're going to have to pay for a repairs or anything like that, or your insurance will. But they will take care of this. They will do it themselves. So quite a that's quite an interesting one. I've never really heard of this before, but to say it's an interesting one. I thought that Suzuki have launching with this program. I'm still not 100% sure why they've done this. That they're going to kind of act as the go-between for you. But I think I don't want to belittle it because I think it might be a decent service. I think the only problem is that they stipulate that all parts will be genuine Suzuki parts with the repairs. Which I suppose it depends on the age of the bike and what aftermarket mods you've got on there. So you may not want that. So it really depends, I suppose. If you've got a standard stock bike, and it's relatively new, I would imagine as well. You would probably lean to use this service, but otherwise, I'm still not sold on the whole point of it, because if you have an accident and you walk away from it, let's say, or you survive it, let's say, let's put it that way, then you'll probably be able to sort this out yourself. Most of it. I mean, they say they take care of the recovery of the bike, the repair of the bike, dealing with the insurer. So I suppose if you're traumatized in some way, if you're laid up, then somebody can call on your behalf to this Suzuki First, this accident aftercare program, and then they can just take the reins from there whilst you're recovering. You don't have to worry about it so much. So I think from that point of view, it's a decent thing. Anyway, so that was from Suzuki, which is I suppose it's a new service, really, not necessarily a new product. But anyway, the next the next thing we're going to be talking about is, guess what? And the first manufacturer we're going to be talking about, or I'm going to be talking about this afternoon, is one of my favorites. Really, I don't ride them that often, like I say, but I am a bit of a closet fan of this manufacturer. And KTM, that is, yes, the Orange Devils from Austria. Well, part Indian as well now, of course. They've come out with a new, quite a series of bikes, and this is a story from Cycle World. The KTM 890 Adventure received some major revisions for 2023. A major upgrade to the aging 790. It's a 889 parallel twin engine. Lots of these bikes are parallel twin engine. And so there's some new stuff for it. There's new stuff. For 2023, the 890 Adventure R gets many technical, ergonomic, and aesthetic updates, including many that take cues directly from the Dakar winning KTM 450 Rally. I mean, it looks a decent. I like it. I like KTM as these kind of off-road capable bikes. I mean, the plenty of power, plenty of performance. This 890 Adventure I think it's a great adventure bike. It's a great size as well. Let's just see what some of the things are. It doesn't really say. Yeah, but basically said launched in the diverse landscape of Western Idaho at the 2022 KTM Adventure Rider Rally. The next level capability and metal of the reshaped KTM 890 Adventure R was witnessed in the heart of the Idaho mountains by adventurers from all around the world. Okay, so it was a closed shop rally, basically a closed shop reveal. The 890R now arrives with a fully adjustable 43mm WP Explore fork and WP Explore PDS Progressive Damping System rear shock. No linkage is needed. Race ready suspension, basically. It's got lots of other things, from improved aerodynamics and ergonomics. I'm not sure the aerodynamics is going to be a big factor in terms of this. I think maybe just for comfort, but or the way the airflow goes around the rider, possibly that's where the that comes from. Ergonomics, yeah, that's but there we go. So it's got a smaller windshield, but it's saying it's got better protection from the elements while increasing vision while standing off-road. So it's basically, you still in the seated position, you've got lots of protection there. It's saying wind deflection, but it's not so big that it hinders your view forward. Another change arrives as the improved 9.3 MP ABS, which uses a control link to take readings from the 6D 6-axis sensors. I mean, all these bikes these days are all full of sensors galore, left, right, and center. I mean, this is from Cycle World. I'll let you dig into this yourselves, but there's that. I thought that was quite an interesting bike. So the new 890, or for the 2023 version, I should say. This is an interesting one this is Insider EV's electric vehicle website. And KTM again, they've gone into the electric bike market now, but they've done it in a very interesting way. I think they've done it with kids, small child's bikes, and they've really kind of tapped into, okay, what's our next generation? Next generation are probably going to be riding EVs, so let's start them off young. Let's bring in a bike especially for the young kids, get them into EV riding, and as opposed to internal combustion engine, petrol engines. I think it's really interesting. This is the SXE3. Let me just show you a picture. It's both use the same permanent magnet motor, however, so it's the SXE5 and the 2023 KTM SXE3 both uses permanent magnet motor. However, the SXE3 only has 3.8 kilowatts output, which is 25% less than the 5. The 360 cell battery has 548 watt hours capacity, which is almost 80% of the 5's KTM claims. So, and a full charge can be obtained just after 70 minutes, connecting the bike to a 900 watt external charger. How long does it last for, though? It's got a tip over sensor, ensures safety, instantly stopping the motor in case of a drop. Well, okay, that's nice. That's a nice little touch. 3 power modes. Yeah, I mean, it's lots of, I mean, it's going to be, it's a kid's bike, but I like this. I like this from KTM. I think this is a really good way of getting kids into motorcycling and also into the next phase or the next era of motorcycling. I think they've been very smart, very canny here. KTM, actually, I must say that. Okay, right. So the next here we go. The next story from KTM. KTM have been very busy. Actually, they've come in with another bike here. This is for the Indian market. Now, obviously, KTM part owned by Indian motorcycle manufacturers as well. A lot of these manufacturers are coming out with these 300cc, 200cc, 300cc bikes, and they're looking at this RC390, and it's going into the Indian market. Indian market is the biggest market in the world, isn't it? Or the largest motorcycle market, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's true. So, and if they're pitching this bike, at that engine size, which predominantly the Indian market is a smaller engine size, let's say up to 500cc, 350, 500cc. in that range, but obviously a lot smaller bikes as well, because it caters to lots of demographics and the mobility issues or mobility preferences of people within that country as well. But it's a nice looking bike, I've got to say. This RC390. A lot of the manufacturers like BMW, they've come in with this sort of size bike as well, haven't they? The bike gets full LED illumination, cast alloy wheels, 6-speed gearbox. There are disc brakes on both ends. You would hope so. And how much do they cost? I mean, I don't know. Watch this. In India, GP edition of the KTM RC 200 carries a price tag of. I actually don't know what this is in terms of rupees, and I don't know what this is in dollars or pounds or euros or whatever. But anyway, it's if you're from India, you're going to watch this show. Let us know, are these reasonable prices for this? But let's say, I mean, it looks a really nice little bike there. Let's say this 390 got a 200, got 390, and this is going to be perfect for the Indian markets. KTM have been busy bees, definitely busy bees. So let's talk about the next manufacturer, which again still, well, I would say close to my heart. And here we go. This is the next one from this is from the motorcyclist website, and this is all to do with 2023 bikes from Kawasaki. I do have to hasten to add that all the bikes I'm talking about, it really depends where you are in the world, which market you're living in, and whether these are going to be sold in your market. But they're talking about Z650 for 2023. I think I talked about this the other day, actually. Z650 is here to gain even more traction with riders. In other words, it now has traction control, which can also be found on the 2023 Ninja 650. So it's a nice little naked bike here. 650 parallel twin engine, again, 649cc. Engine puts out 48.5 foot-pounds of torque for grunty performance off the line, combined with its precise throttle responses and middleweight is the Z is ready to dance. I mean, look at that. That's nice. Yeah, I mean, as I say, it's got a 41mm telescopic fork and preload adjustable horizontal backlink shock, a balance for both sporty mountain road riding and comfortable city cruising. Two 27mm pistons, push back pads to two 300mm metal discs. It says petal disc there, but metal discs up front, while a single caliper grips the 220 disc out back. So it's got dual 300 discs in the front and the 220 at the back. Yeah, ABS is an option, adding $500 to the base price. I believe, I assume this would be from the United States, whereas here it would be mandatory anyway. I mean, so that's the 650. Quite, a nice bike there. The next bike from Kawasaki is this. I talked about this before, a couple of last week, I believe. But they're releasing this KLX 300 Supermoto as well. Looks really nice. Again, this sort of, this over the last sort of year or so, year and a half, 2 years, this 300, 400cc range of bike has really started to become popular, both with the manufacturers and obviously buyers alike, of course. Buyers alike. But there we go. I mean, it looks really nice, little dual sport here. So I like that. I think that's going to be a bit of a seller, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not the greatest fan of supermotos, I've got to say. In the grand scheme of things, I would prefer just to have these as trail bikes, just with knobbly tires and stuff like that. But if you're going to have something for the road, I think, especially starting out, I think this is a great option. But anyway, so that's KLX 300 Supermoto. Now this is the Ninja, the 650 Ninja. Again, from Kawasaki. It looks really nice. Again, I mean, if you're into your sort of mini sports bikes, this 650 has got lots of power, lots of punch, great handling. You know, it delivers 49 foot-pounds of torque at 6,500 RPM, liquid cooled, 649cc parallel twin. An assister and slipper clutch means light feel on the clutch lever. I mean, it just looks a nice. It's got LED lighting, 4.3-inch TEFT full color display. It can be paired with a smartphone and Rideology app. Color options are the metallic, matte, graphite steel, gray, ebony. And this is for the US as well, $7,999. Pearl robotic, white, metallic, matte, flat Greystone ebony. The KRT edition has its own lime green ebony color. This is a nice, I think it's a nice little bike actually. So there we go. So this is the Ninja, and they've also coming out with the KX450. These are all from the Motorcyclist website, by the way. So I just encourage you to go and read this yourself, but I thought I'd just highlight all these new bikes for you. They've got a motocrosser here, the KX450 SR. Again, a lot of this is for the American market. Have a look at your own markets where they are, but they've upped the spec versions of the 450 motocross flagship, factory level performance to avid off-road racers. Kawasaki's latest entry is the KX450 SR Special Racer. The SR builds on the KX450 platform with the specific tuning and designed to make its performance appearance similar to the machines raced in the Monster Energy Supercross and AMA Pro Motocross Championship. So basically, this is getting, certainly from the look side of it, a stock motocrosser, if you like. As much, but we know that all race bikes, whatever race bike you're talking about, they may look like the ones that you could buy in the showroom, but we know they're not. Whether it's suspension tuning, special parts on there, they're all bespoke in many ways, aren't they? Also, certainly in that respect. Okay, so that's Kawasaki. Kawasaki have, again, been busy. Again, I will always want to say this. It really depends where we're talking about, which market and everything like that. Okay, this is an interesting one. So we're going to talk about. Well, let me talk about this next item, and then we'll talk about Harley Davidson in particular. So we're going to be talking about 3 manufacturers here. Let's go. Okay, so this is a interesting article from Cycle World, and I'm going to bring this up for you as well, guys, so you can look at this. But again, as I say, always going to say this, I'm trying to advertise these publications for you, where I'm getting a lot of these stories from, and also so you go and read them yourselves, and hopefully give them a bit of your attention. But it's essentially they're looking at the nice little ride out. And they took out 3 of them. They took out the Harley Davidson Nightster. They took out the Honda Rebel 1100, and with a automatic clutch to the DCT, and they also took out the Indian Scout. It's a very interesting read, I think, and they go through. I think they've done a really good job. So well done to Cycle World and the guys there. Let me just see who actually wrote the piece. It is Morgan Gales who wrote the piece here. But as I say, there's him and a couple of friends. They went out. It was nice. I mean, they got nice pictures. They've done a good job here all around. I got to say, Cycle World, good job on the imagery. Good job on the write up. And they've done a really nice job. But essentially, they went through each one. They picked apart each one, how it performed on the open roads, how it felt to them as individuals, And they were looking at, yeah, the Nightster did all right. The um, the Scout did okay, but overwhelmingly, I mean, what I got from this article is that the Honda Rebel is the one to go for, and that's the one that I've always said, out of these kind of bikes, is the one to go for. Now, primarily, it's because of the price. I think in the US, the article says it's about $10,000 or $9,999. I hadn't realized it was that cheap, to be honest with you. But over there. But there we go. So have a read of this article. It makes it look as the best package for you in terms of performance, reliability, ergonomics, all that sort of stuff. The Honda Rebel seems the one to go for. It does. I mean, they're not slating the Nightster with a Revolution Max 975T engine. They're not slating it at all. They're not slating really the Indian Scout. They're just saying, look, out of all of them, they all have pluses and minuses, and some are good in one respect, some are good in the other, as you would expect. But it's the Nightster kind of comes in second, I suppose. The Indian Scout was third. I think the Indian really fell down, it says, on its performance and handling and its suspension and everything, whereas the Nightster kind of did all right. But it was the Honda Rebel, which I thought was an interesting one. So there we go. Okay, so let's let me just say this one, because I did not know about what I'm about to tell you until today. I did not know about this at all. So we're going to be talking about this company. And we're going to be talking about specifically. Oh, I don't want to say do this because I don't want to appear negative, but sometimes you've got to call it as it is. This comes from a magazine called Auto Evolution. I say I did not know anything about this, and they've basically issued a story here saying the Harley Davidson have issued a recall for the 975 Nightster due to handlebar that may break. So whenever I see this kind of thing, I'm immediately thinking, wow, this a handlebar that breaks. What the hell is going on? Yes, under impact, I can understand that. I've seen many bikes that have broken handlebars after impacts, crashes I'm talking about, but not just riding along or pulling on them or whatever it is. And basically, they've had to issue a recall on these bikes. And if you own a Nightster, obviously, and you're not aware of this, this is for you. Okay, this is for you, right? Or certainly get in touch with your dealership, see if it's relevant to you, or you may already know about this. They may have already contacted you about this. I don't know, and I'm not sure how old this story is. This could be like 2 or 3 weeks old already, or in terms of when they first issued the recall. But essentially, what happened was there was an allegation. On the 4th of August, Harley Davidson Technical Subcommittee was informed of an allegation by a rider that the left side of the handlebar broke off while riding his 2022 model RH 975 Nightster. The motorcycle manufacturer promptly initiated a root cause investigation, which is, look, I mean, that's fair play to them, right? I mean, this is no issues here. A month later, the Milwaukee-based company became aware of an additional claim potentially related to an aforementioned condition. So this is the interesting thing, right? It's basically they've had one claim, then they've had another claim within a month, and this is for the Harley Davidson Nightster, right? And handlebar issues, handlebars breaking. And I'm reading off the article. I want you to go and read this for yourself because I'm kind of skipping through it. This is Auto Evolution, by the way. But essentially, it's looking. This is the interesting bit right here. I'm going to show you exactly where I'm reading this from. And it's this part here. And it basically said, following lab tests that included a thorough examination of the welds, Harley Davidson singled out weld variability as the root cause. The supplier, Vietnam Precision Industrial, #1 company. So, yeah, again, this, we're talking about overseas manufacturers and everything like that, and how this is going to feed into that dislike of manufacturers using components from abroad and everything like that. But to me, it's no surprise, and I don't really have an issue with it. But I can see, when so many people talk about this in terms of Harley Davidson, an American company, and this is just going to feed right into it. So it estimates that 1.63% of handlebars fitted to the recalled population may feature inadequate welds. So 1.63. So, okay, you might think, well, that's not a great deal, but if your bike is within the 1.63, and all of a sudden you're riding along and it suddenly breaks, then you're going to feel pretty horrible. In light of this data, the matter was established to the Field Action Committee, then to the Executive Decision Authority. As implied by the headline, HC decided to recall to address this issue because it presents an unreasonable safety risk. I would say so, to the rider in the event of the handlebars separating while riding. On the upside, for all parties involved, Harley Davidson isn't aware of accidents or injuries related to the described condition. Not yet. Not yet. That's true, but not yet. I mean, luckily they've caught this in time to be able to do it. The handlebar, which bears the part number, again, I'm just reading here. So 55801154 will be replaced with an updated part at no cost to the customer. Well, there we go. Yeah, you would imagine so. Known owners will be informed on the recall between October the 18th and October the 25th by first class mail. Okay. So if you haven't heard about this, or somebody who owns a Nightster, let them know that this is coming. You can tell them that you heard it here, but it's Auto Evolution, this website here, this magazine, who have released this story. But obviously they've picked it up from the information sources. So there we go. It's the Remedy handlebar has the same part number as a potentially defective handlebar. HE highlights that handlebars installed on the 975 Nightster beginning on September the 9th are not affected by the recall condition. Okay, so if your bike was built after September the 9th, I believe this year, that is not in. So any bike predating that, a grand total of 1,074 units are called back. All of these bikes are produced for the 2022 model year. Build dates range from December the 6th, 2021 to September the 9th, 2022. Yeah, it doesn't really say much else there. So there we go. Look, so that is the Nightster, guys. If you own a Nightster, and you're unsure, you bought it a few months ago, get down to your Harley dealership, contact them straight away, and see if yours is affected by this recall. And I would say this is a pretty. I mean, I would say this is a very serious issue, because you don't want to be riding along with your handlebars suddenly breaking off. I mean, it comes down to poor welds, basically, or inconsistent welds, and that kind of thing. I mean, I haven't heard of this kind of thing ever, really. I'm sure it must have happened, but I can't think of it ever happening to a main bike. So, I mean, yeah, very interesting, I would say. Anyway, let me dig into some of the comments. I've been yabbering away. There we go. Yes, West Coasting. Yeah, what am I talking about? There we go. Well, I've just talked about it. And that's what it is. I was talking about other things as well. So it's a live show talking about lots of different elements. So I've just talked about the recall. Well, West Coasting, yeah, nobody cares about a KTM apart from the people who love KTM, of course. So there you go. You don't like them. You don't care about them. Yeah. Okay, right. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, well, he's obviously gone. So there we go. Look, it is one of those things. Like I can say, this live show it's not just about Harley Davidsons, right? It is going to be, the title and the thumbnail, yes, will be the main story, right? But there's going to be other elements to the show, so you're going to have to get used to that. I'm afraid that's what a magazine show is. This is what this live stream is all about. It's about a live show. It's about live information, and it's a magazine show at the end of it. And I'm trying to just read off stories which I'm reading as well, and sharing these sources of information, stories that I hear as well. So, I'm sure some people will be turned off by it, but hey, that's what it is. But hopefully, if if you stuck around and you listen to the Nightster information there, that's definitely relevant to you. If you hadn't heard about it, you will be getting a letter through the post very, very soon, by all accounts. Now, I'm assuming these are affecting Nightsters that are sold all over the world, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they are just European bikes or whether they're bikes that are in the US as well, or Canada or Australia or whatever, or any other part of the world. I actually don't know. I think they could be all over the world, but there we go. Listen, so that's the Harley Davidson Nightster. Bit of a recall issue for the handlebars, but it's good to see the other manufacturers having some new bikes come out as well. So this is the time of year for new bikes of all the manufacturers, apart from Harley Davidson, as I keep on saying, because that'll be from January. And it's interesting to see when you compare and contrast like bikes, as Cycle World did there in their piece, their very good piece, I should say, about comparing and contrasting the Honda Rebel 1100 and the Scout, Indian Scout, and the Harley Davidson Nightster. The Honda Rebel, was pretty much the bike to go for. It may not be the one that grabs your attention or is mostly aesthetically pleasing. I think that one goes, because it basically said in the article, and what I agree with, the Scout gets the looks department, but it kind of sacrifices everything else. The Nightster is kind of middle of the road. It does a bit of everything, whereas the Rebel is less on looks and more on capability. But do you know what? That's Hondas, isn't it? That's just Hondas. They do good stuff. Their bikes are always good. But anyway, look, it's I keep on wanting to talk about Harley Davidson. I like talking about Harley Davidson, but I wish there was something to talk about them. In many ways, I wish they didn't adopt this policy, this launch policy of bringing their bikes out in January, or the news, because I'd like to talk about them now. I think, you can have a really good discussion about Harley Davidson bikes right now compared to other models as well. But look, that's their decision, and who am I to argue against them? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the show. It's I'm not really going to have. There isn't many questions here, many Q&As here, so you can ask any questions you like. There isn't a hot topic today for me to get into. I'm not going to discuss anything else really. It's been really just about some interesting things from the Suzuki, for new bikes from KTM, Kawasaki, and that about Harley Davidson news as well. I mean, that's about it. There isn't another hot topic, but I say, if anything comes to light, I'll bring it to you in another live show as well. Hopefully the video quality is better for you. Hopefully the audio quality is better for you as well. And I will catch you again on another live show coming very, very soon. But there we go. It's time for me to bow out. Have a lovely afternoon, a lovely weekend. Enjoy what you're doing, whatever you're doing. If you're out on your bikes, ride safe, ride free, ride fun, ride with a smile on your face, and away you go. And I'll catch you again. Ta-ra.